Welcome back to Lenz Movie Review, episode number 113. This I'm viewing the overall for this particular film. It's the sixth film of the main X-Men films, but it's kind of like more close to 9 or 10. Released only 3 years ago, and yes, I saw this film in theaters, and I did a spoiler review. So thinking, why are you doing a review of a movie you did a spoiler review for? Well, I've talked time about this. Yeah, time has passed by doing another review for this film. X-Men Apocalypse, released in 2016. Apocalypse himself was played by Oscar Isaac, the same guy who played Poe Dameron from Star Wars. Yeah, released just 5 months to Star Wars. Yep. With a bunch of new characters. Now, the only characters in the previous film they managed to retain for this one is Magneto, Professor X, Beast, Mystique, and Quicksilver. That's it. There's like nobody else in the previous film pops up in here that I can think of. We also have Caliban appearance in this movie. His first actual live action appearance, though there was another version of this character popped up in Logan, which according to the director, two complete different characters because two different timelines. Yep. We also have a new version of Storm. Yeah. Who doesn't do very much in the movie aside from, well, a cool look. We have another Angel pop up in this movie. He's a little bit more better handled in this movie than he was in X-Men Last Stand. Don't worry, we'll talk about that. We also have another actor for Nightcrawler. Yep, making his first appearance in the movie since X-Men 2, back in 2003. And no, not the same actor. It's a completely different character. We also have the Blob show of this movie. Don't know who this character was. You see him briefly for a cameo as a guy who gets defeated by the Angel. I'll get to that. Psylocke, which I gotta praise the fact she actually has a kind of a costume in the movie, which that's saying something due to the fact that Fox hates having the X-Men wear the damn costumes in the movies. Yes, that's something that's really, really dumb about these movies. Is the fact that Fox he did not want the X-Men wear their costumes. But yet Psylocke wears her costume. Yes, the outfit she wears in the movie is her comic costume. Yes, here's Olivia Mann in that very costume. Yes, that is the comic costume she wears in the comic books. Though she didn't have like a cleavage thing, but that's okay. At least you can say this is Psylocke. She acts like Psylocke. The problem is she doesn't do very much. Yep. Now, in the case of the beginning of the film, it's quite interesting how the film begins. It begins in ancient Egypt. And because normally when it comes to Apocalypse's origin in the comics, Kang the Conqueror is involved when he was Rima Tut. He's involved with his backstory. In this film, there's no Rima Tut. It's just some random Egyptian guy who just happened to be the Apocalypse at that point, and he transfers his stuff to the Apocalypse, the one who Oscar Isaac plays, and he has people rebel against Apocalypse and trap him in his frickin' pyramid for like 3,000 years until he wakes up in the 80s. Yep, the frickin' 80s. He wakes up, which I gotta praise the fact they did this. Him waking up in the 80s makes sense because he made his debut in the 1980s. This film takes place 10 years after events of the previous film. Yep. Now, Apocalypse himself, I gotta praise the fact that Oscar Isaac's performance as the character is really interesting. I like his performance as the character. His look is okay. It may not be the comic costume. It may not be his look from the comics, but at least you can say this is Apocalypse. He at least acts like frickin' Apocalypse. And he still has this survival of the fittest attitude. Yep. Oh, in case you're wondering, does the Brotherhood mutants show in the movie? No, they don't. There is no Brotherhood. There's not been a Brotherhood since, in this timeline, not since First Class. Because all the members, with the exception of Mystique and Magneto, got captured, tortured, experimented on, and were all killed by Bolivar Trask between movies. Why Singer decided to do that for? No idea. Yeah, Singer returns to this film as well. And this is by far his last film he did for the series. He only directed 4 films. He directed the first 2, Days of Future Past, and this film. Yep. So Apocalypse, and he runs into Storm. Yep, Storm. In Cairo, which that kind of is true. She actually has visited Cairo. She's not originally from, I think she's from Kenya originally. Yep. And she gives Storm her comic book look. You know, the Mohawk look she had back in the 80s, which I gotta at least praise the fact they actually had the balls to do that. Unlike Halle Berry, who all she did for Days of Future Past was just cut her hair short. Yep. So he says to recruit his new horseman. Storm is the first choice, which I'm like, why the heck Storm? This honestly makes no goddamn sense at all. Why? Because Storm has never been part of the Brotherhood in the comics. Even part of this movie, never been part of the comics. Only in this film. Okay? Then they go recruit Psylocke, who actually has been a member of this group in the comics. Well, during the Recommender run, yeah, she was a horse. She was one of the horsemen for like one storyline for Uncanny X-Force. But at least you can say she has been a member of X-Force. Member of the Four Horsemen. Okay, so who do they recruit next? Angel, who basically Mystique finds. Mystique is there at this place, and she's not in her blue skin. Nope. For what I heard, and this I thought was really stupid. Apparently, Jessica Lawrence did not want to be in this movie at all. Nope, she had no desire to be here. If you see the movie, it's like she'd rather be someplace else. And like some people say she was phoning a performance. Another guy said she was emailing it 1,000 miles away. Because she did not care to reprise her role as Mystique. She was more focused on Hunger Games. I think she'd rather have done that than be in this movie. And no, there is no mention of Nightcrawler being Mystique's son. Yeah, that was something even, I will talk about X2, but there's no mention of these two being related at all. Despite the fact, in the comics, this is mother and son. And there's no mention of these two being related. Nope. So she recruits Nightcrawler, brings him to the Xavier suit, which has been reopened, by the way. Angel, of course, has his wings scorched, but Apocalypse finds him later and turns in the middle. Great. At least he's there. He does a lot more stuff in this one than he did in Last Stand. He appears in 3 scenes, and I will talk about that soon. I'll be discussing about 4 episodes because I do plan to talk about that. Because after this, I'm talking about the next film that came after this one. Okay, so we have Storm, we have Angel, we have Psylocke. Okay, of these 3 people, only 2 have been horsemen. Psylocke and Angel. Storm has never been a horseman. And who's the final horseman? Magneto, who was hiding out in, I think it's someplace in Europe. And Magneto is implied to be probably in his 50s by this point. Yeah, I'd say 50s. And he surrounds with a family. Now, this is actually partially taken from the comic books. Yes, Magneto did have another daughter who was killed, and he did go on a rampage. Yes, this actually is one of the portions of Magneto's backstory they decided to adapt for this film. Though in this film, her death is accidental. Yep. I don't think they retained her same name from the comic books, but it's a completely different character. Yep. Magneto himself, despite like hiding after the events of Days of Future Past, he used his power to actually save somebody's life. Like, he has every right to flee. Of course, they should be thanking him, not trying to. I mean, yes, trying to arrest him because he's an international terrorist, but he did not need to shoot his own child. That was stupid. So Magneto got mad, took the metal lock that was around his daughter's neck, and kills 10 policemen, just like that. Yep. I can accept Magneto killing people because he's a freaking terrorist. Yes. I don't have a really big problem with it. Heck, it would be nice if he hunted down Nazis. Because he's Jewish, he hates Nazis. Well, the only Nazi he's ever killed was Sebastian Shaw. I still think that was stupid. The fact that he was played by Kevin Bacon. Yep. So, he's recruited by Apocalypse, gives him a slightly new helmet. Yeah, it's not the same helmet he had in the last movie. Yeah, ask what happened to his helmet from the first movies. Never explained. He gets a brand new helmet made by Apocalypse. He's taken Auschwitz for some reason. Well, he's taking that. Now, this is the same camp that was seen from First Class. And what does have Magneto do? Demolish it. Yep, with his own powers. Which apparently can not only move metal now, because we did previously, he also can move the frickin' dirt. Yes, that's new ability he has. Moving frickin' rock. Why? No idea why he gave him these powers for. In the case of Angel giving metal wings, that's fine because in the comic books, though he did it on a different way. Here he just has his hand out, forcibly has his wings turn metal, and that's that. Psylocke, he just made her slightly more powerful. Storm, basically, he made her hair into a freaking mohawk. Magneto just gave him a new set of powers for some strange reason. I have no idea why he did this for. Yep. And of course, the X-Men are monitoring this. They do know about this. And also, at one point, they have Apocalypse actually come to the Xavier Institute. Yeah. Which, as far as I can tell, if I remember from the comics, he actually has been here several times in the comics. That part is true. He has been here before. And Havoc is in the movie. Yes, Havoc. And we also have new versions of Cyclops, Jean Grey, and we have a new Jubilee. Yep. Doesn't do very much. He's seen here about 3 scenes. Does almost nothing. She shows up right after Nightcrawler shows up, implying these two might be a thing. Doesn't go anywhere. Nope. Beast is still in his beast form. Yep. And let's see, what else? Yeah. Havoc. Now, they do have a slight change for Havoc. Now, him and Cyclops are still brothers. Gotta praise Singer's writer for doing that. They do swap the order of their birth. Havoc is now the older brother, and Cyclops is the younger brother. Which, that is actually derived from the Ultimate Universe. I have no idea why they did this for, but they did. But my guess is the reason why Singer did this is my personal theory, it's because Matthew Vaughn introduced Havoc before he introduced Cyclops. That is just my personal theory in the matter when it comes to Havoc. Also, Havoc dies in this movie. Yeah, he dies. By blowing up Cerebro and part of the actual house. Though they have Quicksilver show up, who basically is here thanks to Xavier's card he held on to for 10 years. And he comes to Xavier Institute and he just leaves in the air and just does the same thing he did in the previous movie, but it's still quite interesting. But at least he saves all the students, he even saves the pets as well. This is why I think the institute gets blown up and everybody's pretty much like almost knocked out. Now the reason why this is done is because Apocalypse basically got his hands on Cerebro, which that would have been bad if he did that. So he ordered Havoc to destroy Cerebro, which Xavier himself was also kidnapped. So everybody's like almost like unconscious. So then people from the Weapon X project show up at the Xavier Institute, which is the first time they've done this in the films since X2. So they knock out Beast. They take Beast, Mystique, and not Nightcrawler. I think it was like one other person they took. Who else did they knocked out about 3 people. It was Mystique. Oh yeah, they also knocked out Quicksilver, which I thought that was interesting. Yes, freaking Quicksilver. Oh yeah, and they also have more McTaggart here. Yeah, they actually have in the film where Beast drives Xavier to DC to see more McTaggart, so they take it back to the Institute. Of course, later on, there's something. Yeah, as for the whole thing with more McTaggart being here, her involvement with Apocalypse, as far as I could tell in the comics, she has never encountered it before. Not until like the recent stuff. But over the years, she has never encountered the Apocalypse at all in the comics. No, not really. Quicksilver, yeah, he has. So they show up at the Institute at the same time, basically, when the whole explosion happened. Yep. And so they take Mora, Quicksilver, Mystique, and Beast. So, oh yeah, and the whole thing with Cyclops. Okay, he's like kind of antsy, but I at least gotta say he's a lot better than James Marsden's portrayal of the character. Yeah, and they have Jean Grey played by Sophie Turner. And we're teasing the Phoenix Force. Which, They're teasing this film to be an alternate personality of Jean Grey again, which I'm like, no, that's not the Phoenix Force. That's stupid. Yeah. Apparently, she also apparently generate fire for some reason. I thought that was weird. Yeah, they're just teasing the next film, which they are good. They did do that. I still have not seen Dark Phoenix yet. I'll probably get it in the future. So, oh yeah, and the whole thing with Cyclops, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, and Jubilee, they go out. They just sneak out of the mansion while this is going on, and they had no idea this happened. Yeah, pretty much they decided they go to the mall. Yep, they go see a movie. What movie they go see? Well, it's 1983 movie they go see that year, Return of the Jedi. Yep, they went to go see that, and they poked fun at being like, yeah, the not the best one of the series. Yeah, but it was the first one I saw. Yep. That when they arrive, they of course see everybody get knocked down. Of course, when the explosion happened. Yep. So they sneak on board to the Weapon X like helicopter with having those four people unconscious. As for why Stryker took, now I get why Mystique because she posed as him, but why the heck Beast, Marmac Taggart, and Quicksilver? Why these two for? It's never explained. So where did they fly? To the Weapon X facility in Alkali Lake, making its first appearance since The Last Stand. It looks pretty much the same. There's not really major changes here, except they don't show the room Wolverine was born, which I'm kind of glad they don't show that again because we don't necessarily need to see that again. So they look to free them, which apparently they're all in like some room. Yep. And they eventually do free everybody with Mystique, and they try to take us some goons, and they just happen to go into a room with a giant box. And this was actually shown in the trailer the day before the film came out. Okay, what is in this giant box? They open it up, and it's Wolverine! Yes, Wolverine appears in this movie. Hugh Jackman Wolverine, who apparently is thin. Yeah, there's a reason for this. Off screen because he was filming Pan at the same time. And he didn't want to put any muscle for this movie, though he did do for Logan. Yes. In story, this makes sense for him to be thin. Probably because they've been starving him at the Weapon X field to make him a trained killer. Though I do agree with the criticism involving the helmet that he wears. Fox was afraid to cover Hugh Jackman's partially of his. They were afraid to cover up half his face because this X actually drawn from a story called Weapon X from the Marvel Comics Presents series. And it's quite something they actually did this. And at least they have him wear something different than in the comics when they had him basically when we wore this thing. It was implied Wolverine was naked. I at least gotta praise the fact the movie at least had the balls to put him in shorts. Yeah. Though they're kind of short shorts, but yeah, shorts. Which makes total sense for him to wear instead of walking around completely naked around a facility. So, they free him. Jean Grey takes the vice off him, just sort of soothes his mind. They bust a hole in the wall and he goes out and we don't see him again. Yep, that's his only appearance. Bye-bye Logan. See you in X-Men. Yep. So, they get a jet and they finally get freaking costumes on. Waited 16 years, basically, for them to put on costumes. Though it's not their official costume, they put some costumes on later. And they go to Egypt, where they go to do one thing. Kill Apocalypse. At least stop him from trying to take over the world like any other villain would. So the first thing he does when he gets there, build a gigantic pyramid that's bigger than the pyramids of Giza. Yeah, this thing is freaking huge. It's bigger than the big one of the three of the pyramids of Giza. Like, oh my gosh, this thing's so freaking huge. And instead of made of stone, this thing is made of metal. Okay, that makes sense. He got his own throne. He got like a little table. Puts Xavier on, which this is also the reason why Xavier is bald now because of Apocalypse. Okay. So Xavier's freed, and they of course trap him in like one of the buildings. So who was the first person to throw the first punch against Apocalypse himself? Why, it's Quicksilver. Yes, Quicksilver is the one to throw the first punch. Like, wow, out of all the characters, Quicksilver is the first one to do it. And here's the thing. Storm and Magneto all turn against Apocalypse for the bullcrap he's doing. More Tiger, the memories returned. And of course, well, the habits where Apocalypse and Xavier fight in the Mindscape. And he does this whole thing of, you're in my house now, where he just acts like a freaking boxer, beating the crap Apocalypse. At one point, he goes freaking big. They're also teasing the fact that, like, the trailers are also being accused of promoting the fact of violence against women, which I'm like, really? Just because he has his hands around Mystique's throat? Really? He doesn't do anything really to her. It doesn't hurt her at all. Eventually, he's beaten the Mindscape by frickin' Jean Grey, who unleashes a version of the Phoenix Force. Though they don't call it that in the movie. They just say, oh yeah, some flame stuff that burns his frickin' mind. So it takes the combined might of Storm, Magneto, Cyclops, Beast, Quicksilver, Professor Xavier, pretty much all the X-Men plus Magneto to defeat frickin' Apocalypse. Takes a while, but they do beat him. So after they beat him, they fly home, rebuild the Xavier Institute pretty quickly thanks to Magneto. Yeah, they rebuild it in less than like a day. And then, of course, they have an ending sequence where they have their training of the new X-Men. Basically, it's just Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, with them finally in the damn costumes. Yes, finally. Waited 16 years for this. And just brief moments like, let's prepare for the Danger Room. Yep, we finally have Danger Room in here. And the movie ends with them confronting a Sentinel. Yes, the same model Sentinel from Days of Future Past. And that's how the film ends. Yep. This film is actually pretty good. I know some people don't like this film because mainly portrayal of Apocalypse. Yeah, oh, but what happens with Psylocke? She just goes off on her own. Angel does practically nothing. Yep, he's just there for a special effect. At least gotta praise the fact he gets a lot more screen time with this movie. Yep. Yeah, at least gotta praise for that. And though his horseman basically is like, of the 4 people he has here, 2 of whom actually have been horsemen, like I said, Archangel and Psylocke. These 2 have. Storm has never been part of this group except for X Revolution. Yep. Magneto also has been part of the group X Revolution. In the comics, these 2 have never been associated with this group at all. Nope. Never have. As for why the heck they made these 2 part of the Horsemen, now obviously Angel's the Horseman of Death. Okay. Then what the heck is Psylocke, Storm, and Magneto? They don't even use those names at all in this movie, which I'm like, really? You have the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse, and you don't have Death, War, Pestilence, and Famine? Then what the heck are these 4 positions? I mean, we have Death, which is obviously Angel. He's the obvious one. We know he's the Angel of Death, like the Horseman of Death. But what about Magneto, Storm, and Psylocke? Yeah, they don't really explain this at all. Also, why the heck was Angel... Another complaint about Angel that I have, aside from the fact that there's almost nothing in this movie, is why the heck is he involved in cage fighting? Yeah, in the comics, he's never involved with cage fighting. Same thing with Nightcrawler. That's completely made up for the movie. Yes, though, at least gotta praise the fact they keep it having a German accent, which I praise for that. You know who another character aside from Angel who does practically nothing to advance the plot? Joan Believe. Yeah, she does nothing. She pops up for like 3 scenes. Her introduction, which she also takes out Nightcrawler, Jean Grey, and Cyclops out to the mall, and then they see the Xaviers blow up, and after that she's never seen in the movie until the very end. Wow, what a waste of time for Joan Believe appearing in this movie. At least got praise the fact they cast an actress who's Asian. Yep. I'm happy the fact they have Psylocke in this movie, which about time they have this character in the movie. Though there was something that she did appear in, I think it was X2, but it was like deleted scenes. So yeah, at least got praised for the first live action experience of Psylocke. So aside from Psylocke and Magni and of course Apocalypse, the only other character who made the first live action experience thanks to this film was Caliban. Yeah, these two are the only three people who actually made the first live action experience with this very film. Everybody else had appeared in movies before. Yep. I get this film roughly a 8 out of 10. It's a bit of a step down from the awesomeness that was the last film, but I still found enjoyable nonetheless. My friend Edgar thinks this film was okay. I don't know what my friend Tibia basically his thoughts on the movie were, but yeah. So that's it for this particular review. I still got a few reviews I plan to do today. Well, a couple of whom being part of Toshi Reservoir Chronicle. The other ones being, well, movie reviews related to the X-Men film series. Next I'm going to do is next movie review Logan. Yep. And then the first 3 films. And after that, we pretty much review like all the X-Men films. After I finish reviewing all the X-Men films, the next film series I'm going to do is the MCU. Well, I'm going to do the phases. I'm going to take a break between phases to do other films. I'm going to do phase 1, one standalone movie. So I do phase 2 and phase 3. I'll do like 1 or 2 standalone movies. They have nothing to do with them. Okay? But do this next few. Bye.